This isn't the first time that Hong Kong is standing up to China. Last year, the protesters of Hong Kong forced China to retract, to take back a controversial extradition law. This happened after months of mass protests. The world watched, mostly in awe. Some also spoke, expressing concern. The US, the UK, and Canada, to name a few. The European Union sent a diplomatic note expressing concern. These were little more than tokens of support for Hong Kong, but it's different this time, very different. The supporters are more assertive, they're more vocal. Hong Kong is not something that China can pass off as an internal matter anymore. It cannot get away by citing an imaginary foreign hand here. This protest is going to be much harder to quell. More than 200 parliamentarians and policymakers from 23 countries have lodged a strong protest. They have condemned Beijing's move to impose an autocratic law on Hong Kong. The letter on your screen now shows the extent of the global outrage against China. All signatories are senior policymakers and politicians. It's a strongly worded statement. It says that the national security law is a quote-unquote comprehensive assault on the autonomy of Hong Kong. The statement says, and I'm quoting, if the international community cannot trust Beijing to keep its word when it comes to Hong Kong, people will be reluctant to take its word on other matters. Which are the matters? I'm sure you can guess. China is being asked questions on some serious matters of life and death. And now leaders from 23 countries are saying they cannot rely on China's word. Some big names have signed this letter. The list includes Hong Kong's last colonial governor, Chris Patten, former British Foreign Secretary Malcolm Rifkin, and American lawmakers like Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio. A total of 10 American names feature on this list. Other signatories are from Europe, New Zealand, Canada, Australia, South Korea and Malaysia. Indian rights activist Dr. John Dayal has also signed this. And perhaps the biggest message of support comes from Taiwan. President Tsai Ing-wen has thrown her weight behind the people of Hong Kong. She wrote a Facebook post yesterday. President Tsai says the proposed national security law is a threat to Hong Kong's freedom. She has promised to provide necessary assistance to Hong Kong, as she put it. Taiwan could be emboldened by the fact that its ally, the United States, is taking a tough stand on Hong Kong too. The White House has said that China's national security law could invite American sanctions. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has called Beijing's move a death knell, his words, a death knell for the autonomy of Hong Kong. China has hit back with a threat of its own. Listen to this.
China firmly opposes noises made by the United States politicians on the Hong Kong-related agenda of the National People's Congress. China has lodged solemn representation to the US side. I want to stress that Hong Kong is China's Hong Kong. Hong Kong affair is purely China's domestic affair. It is within Chinese sovereign rights to determine when, how and what legislation to put on Hong Kong. US doesn't have the authority to point fingers or interfere. If the US is determined to harm China's interests, China will take any necessary countermeasures to fight back.
China wants to move quickly and enact this law. And for that, it is willing to bypass Hong Kong's own legislature, something that Hong Kong's influential bar association has called worrying and problematic. If Beijing still goes ahead, expect a more fierce backlash from Hong Kong.